Welcome to the One More Thing Tech Podcast. You'll notice that there's a certain person that's not here today, and I just gotta say, he has had a very busy couple weeks, and he continues to have that. And Quasi is just trying to catch up with everything, so he's not gonna probably be here this week, and then maybe next week as well. But after that, he's back. So don't be we're not breaking up as a podcast. It's not what's happening. I'm just promising you that right now. So anyway, let's dive into some tech news. Well, HBO is going through a lot of changes right now. One thing we're seeing is people across the platform are sharing their accounts with people that are not their family, friends, so on, right? Well, they caught on to this. And one thing that I've seen is this happens with every platform, right? Not just HBO. Hulu happens too. Netflix and so on. And from their perspective, I understand it, right? It's a business choice to do this because people are doing this to avoid paying for the plans to get the content, right? And I understand that there's a whole thing where, let's say that your kid goes to college, right? Well, when they go to college, that's different locations. So how do you judge that in that aspect, right? But it's not in the household anymore. But at that point, they should probably pay for their own plan. That's what they're getting at. So what they're going to do is $8 a month to share outside of the household. Now, what we don't know is that per person or in general. What I'm getting at is their prices are going up anyway because now they're at like $10 a month for with ads, and then $17 per month without ads, and the 4K is $20.99. Now, one thing I will say about HBO Max, their 4K is probably the best 4K we have in general. I mean, just looking back, I remember an HBO show called Game of Thrones was like 30 gigs or 20 gigs per episode of a file. That's crazy. To even think that. To see that they're doing this is just one more reason to not share those accounts like you shouldn't be doing anyway. But realistically, $10 a month to just do that extra is not treacherous because I think Netflix is like per account, it's whatever fee they want to charge, right? So just letting you know, if you're one of those people sharing your accounts with people that shouldn't have that, they're not in a household, they're going to find out. They already know because there's geolocation, all this other stuff, right? And they're going to just charge you for that. So be aware. So don't just try to do that and try to get away with it. They will find out and they will just charge you. So in any case, HBO Max is making that change as of today. So just be aware of that. Speaking of streaming apps, long ago, when I was first doing streaming, one of the services I had was Hulu. And it was Fox at the time. I believe now it still is, but Disney owns Fox, Disney owns Hulu, and so on, right? So what is happening is the Hulu interface is being absorbed into Disney Plus, okay, because they bought them, essentially. So with this being the case, Hulu app is for sure going away. They confirmed it. Variety's who originally posted this, and the Disney Plus apps will include and bundle in the Hulu content. So with that being said, the Hulu app will be just gone, and that's what they're going to do. Same content, just the app platform. What I'll say about that, though, is it's a little scary to see that because I haven't had the best experience with Disney Plus. The content itself is unique, and I like that. What I don't like is that there's a service that you don't get the entire library of their content, which is a bit sketchy at best. They have this vault system and everything like that. I don't like that. If I'm paying for Disney Plus, all Disney content I should get. No questions asked. They don't do that. And they're the first platform, to my understanding, that during the COVID era had a movie that was in theaters, also available on Disney Plus, that you can watch, but for an extra $30. That was their way of saying you could not go to the theater, but we still get some money from that movie. Okay, I kind of get that compromise, but at the same time, $30? What costs more than buying it when it's out on digital? It's a bit expensive, but it's the price you pay to get that now. It's the now factor, right? That's what it's come down to. In any case, Disney is nixing the Hulu app and will be going into Disney Plus. So be aware of that. That exactly is going to happen. Boy, it doesn't even tell me that. So just be aware of that. That's going to happen very, very soon. Okay, next thing. ChatGPT. Let's try that again. 5 is out. People are having mixed reviews with it, but I've heard from some people that the AI models and LLM is really, really nice. And I want to say certain phrases you say with ChatGPT and certain ways that you communicate with it is pretty really good. I mean, it's really good platform. I'm not ever going to say it's not a good platform because they pull off some great stuff with how it answers certain questions between, let's say, coding, for instance, or using integration with Microsoft and everything like that. It's a really good platform. 6 things that we're seeing with this new version is personalities. So it's going to try to be like, let's say, a nerd or a listener, a robot, or just a certain personality that's more like human-like, that it's going to have those responses, kind of like Grok kind of has sometimes. So that's one thing they're going to have, which is kind of nice because I think they're trying to get away from you talking to a robot, per se, right? It's going to be more so of a communication between you and another person without that person really being there. But it's an open discussion for those kind of discussions and just seeing what that pulls out to be. As I said before, I truly believe that AI is going to be what people go to for searching for anything, because I can't stand to this day when I search in Google, right? Not in Gemini, just Google. Let's say I'm trying to find a certain location near me that sells my size pants, okay? You're not going to get those results in the first 2 or 3 pages. It's going to be close results, or it's going to be like something far-fetched. It's not even close to that topic, like McDonald's has this new burger, right? It's not even close to what I asked it. But an AI search is so tailored to your exact request that they will do their best to provide you what you're looking for. And I would say 8 times out of 10, it is just that. So I encourage you to try those differences and see how it is. Okay, as we know, ChatGPT has a free version, so you can try that out. Now, I do not believe this ChatGPT 5 is going to be included with the free version as of yet. They kind of roll it out later on. So, better vibe coding capabilities. So, I've seen people ask GPT, man, just like code me a website with this kind of style and this interface with this kind of idea and concept, and it's pulled it off. And I'm amazed with that to see how it can just do that, because it's not just learning how to code, it's picking up those keywords that you're asking it to be very unique and special for what you want. So it's not just like saying, oh, I found a template online, I'm going to just copy and paste that into here. It is actually coding it from scratch that no one else has done before, right? It's just for you. And I really like that, and even a different language too, which makes it nice. So this could be an issue in certain circumstances, right? You could see an option where now you're not going to have a designer or have a coder do things. AI is going to do it for you. It's going to be cheaper. But see, here's what I'll say about that. I don't think, even as of now, with AI, we're going to see where this is going to replace a coder or a designer for a website, for instance. Because there's that certain personal touch that brings it all together, and it's not going to be what AI does yet. Can it get there? I mean, it's possible. We're not going to know for sure until we see what really happens. But I would not say, if you're a company and you're thinking this is going to replace my core that I'm paying $80,000 a year for, don't think that for a second. Because here's the thing about that. You're going to be able to have a discussion with that coder that's going to make sense for that company values and what you do for design and how you do a certain touch for things, how you might want this over here. And I don't think by you putting that information into this, you're going to get exactly that. It might be close. It's not quite there yet. So I would not just fire them and use this. But what's nice is if you are a coder, it gives you an advantage to get some of that coding done for you, for instance. You can tweak it later on. Tweak it all you want. Make changes here, 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 and make it call it yours, right? But also know, I'm not sure what their terms are for if I do this as a designer or coder, can I sell that information? Can I sell that as my own product? That's something you have to find out for yourself. Don't just assume that you can, because you might not be able to. Any case, you can customize more things, the color schemes, the personalizations, and the accent colors, and so on with the app. So that's one great feature they're offering with it. I think now we finally can see dark mode with this. And advanced voice mode can adapt to you. So this is something that I really like about Grok. I think, and there's a great value in this. If I'm talking to Grok in certain discussions and certain, I'm bringing my podcast, or I'm bringing up that I like pizza, whatever, right? It's going to base those conversations that I have with it with what I already said and remembers that stuff. And it's nice to see that it does that, because then you can bring up a whole bigger picture of what you're trying to discuss while remember what you had before in the past. And that's nice. So let's say that you have a big thing that you're in charge of at a company, right? And you're going to perhaps design a new layout for a field that's going to include for instance, a stage for a band, new trees and flowers and a pond and all this other stuff. But you start bringing out discussions early on about what size spaces I really had to work with. Here's where I might want to put the pond and the walkway and the benches and the park and the stage. And this is dimensions for this. And I really like having this idea for these flower sets, these trees. Maybe I had some fruit trees included with this. So on, so on, so on, right? And having those early discussions with it, ask it other things past that, and then go back to that discussion to carry on that discussion. That right there is incredible. And that's one great thing that AI can do that's an immersive and nice, because it's like you're talking to somebody that actually cares and wants to talk with you about that discussion, right? So that's bringing more things to it that I really like. So you can see your day at a glance, for instance, right? And so on. So the next feature. So for instance, you can say, what's my day today? And because your calendar alerts, because of what you have your email coming up, maybe you got an email from your boss saying, hey, we're meeting today at 10:30. Hey, you didn't really know about that yet because there's no calendar invite. Well, you can ask it those kind of things, and it's going to scan through all your communications and what you kind of have for your productivity apps and tell you what you're going to be doing. So that's a quick way to see what you're going to be doing for the day, and I like that. It looks for your notes, calendar, email, and so on, if you tell it to, and it's going to just do that. And right now, it's going to be mostly with Gmail and Google Calendar. I think later ones are coming in the future. Okay. That's about the new things that ChatGPT 5 is going to bring into the table. Nice little upgrade. I do like that. What are your thoughts with this? Oh, wait, hold up. Okay, sorry. It's the picker model. They're just going to have that so you can't pick or you can pick. We'll find out what that's going to be like. So now we just talked about ChatGPT 5. Let's talk about the problems with it. So several users on Reddit. So the CEO did an AMA, which is Ask Me Anything on Reddit. And there was a tremendous amount of people on Reddit and X that were saying there's all these problems with it. And things were not working correctly. They were not working correctly. And we were seeing that just the base platform was having some lag and some problems. So it wasn't just what they released recently. It was more so the base platform was having several problems. So he admitted in this that there was a bumpy launch that they weren't expecting. The exact phrase, it was a little more bumpy than we hoped for. So now what they have done is they're giving the option to choose the new ChatGPT 5 and 4, so you can roll back to the previous version to see those comparisons and see which one you like better, I guess, and more so to fix the bugs. I guess the reason is because there are people working late, they're very tired, and there's some human error that got in the way. So I imagine there's going to be a update very soon that's going to fix these problems, and it's just going to be fine. But I think it's because it just comes down to these new features are going to use more energy and power too, and things can happen sometimes with that, right? So it's more so they have to roll back and just kind of get those things fixed. Once they do, you'll be able to see all these great features, and you'll be just in heaven for the most part, right? These are great new features. Okay, the last topic I want to talk about is we're going to bring up last couple of weeks, but we had some issues with timing and stuff like that, so we're going to do it now. Google is very soon launching the Pixel 10, okay? And it's a strange concept. What I want to do is I want to show you that really quick. If I can do this, just bear with me 1 second here. Wait 1 second here, guys. Gotta find it. Okay, so you can see right here, the Pixel 10 looks kind of like an iPhone in a lot of ways, but has a G instead of the Apple logo. And this little bump out button, it's not a button, sorry, it's a camera bump. So that's the new Pixel and what we're expecting to see with this. Just so you know, there is about 6 things that we're seeing with this that I want you guys think what your thoughts are with this. So anyway, let's get back to my little thing here. Give me 1 second here. Okay, there's triple cameras all around. So the back of that display, you really can't see from that picture, but there is 3 cameras at least, which I believe is going to be telephoto, man, they don't even tell you. Don't even say it all. Yeah, telephoto lens for the first time, and they bring out their other cameras as they usually did. Now, we don't know the exact pixel count as of right now because it's just assumed that's going to match the Pixel 9a. We're not 100% sure yet, though. So, the colors. As of right now, we see that it's going to be like a space gray, a blue, white, or silver is what it's going to be, and yellow. Bit odd combinations. I will say that their blue is a lot better looking than I expected. So we're going to share that too, and just so you can see what I'm talking about here. So right here is their blue. Looks pretty nice. And then their space gray. I think this is white or silver. And then last we have this yellow, which I think is just, man, it's bad. I'm not a big fan of that one, but it's okay. It's okay. We're going to stick with it. And then here is some changes that we're going to see as well. So we see Qi 2 charging. 25 watts of charging. That is pretty nice. So I'm just really shocked that in this realm of charging on the back of a phone with like a magnet style charging or even not, they've not exceeded 25 watts. Where you see like plugged in people will charge it up to 100 watts or even more in a phone, which is craziness. It's because of heat and various other factors, right? But 25 watts is nice to see that. And we're going to see that in every Pixel phone that comes out this year. And then, hold up here, chip upgrades. They're working with Samsung and Tensor G5 chip to do a 3nm N3E processor, which is kind of what Apple uses for the 16 Pro with their A18 Pro chip. This is going to be more efficient chip. It's going to be more power efficiency as well. And we're supposed to see a big enhancement in processing, which we don't know quite yet because it's not released yet. But people are saying that it is a really nice upgrade for sure. AI is going to just overtake this phone with Gemini and various other things too. So they're going to have things like sketch to image, speak to tweak, whatever that means. Should be voice-based photo editing tool. Oh, okay. So if you have like a photo that you want to do, you want to tell it to change the background to be a beach, you might do that. To enhance the color gradients, you can do that as well. To make it brighter or more denser, or have a better HDR contrast, and so on, right? You can change those things with the voice discussion. It's kind of neat. And you'll see more things like Camera Coach, which will use Gemini to advise you and how you're taking your shots to improve your angles and lighting, so on and so on. Kind of neat concept. Because not everybody knows about that or cares as much, but knowing this is a nice little feature. And there's going to be a new virtual assistant called Pixel Sense. And that will reportedly be using information from Google apps to complete tasks across your phone, make predictive suggestions to help you before your task, and to better learn your taste from all your data. Impressively, that would be processed on device. That is something really nice. So it's not a new concept for personal assistants on a phone, right? But they're not really the best. They kind of been at best. So having this on a phone that's going to be actually usable is going to be nice. Apple, when you fix Siri, I cannot wait to use it more because it kind of sucks a lot right now. Okay? I still can't use Siri in the like I've said Siri 4 times. Hasn't even listened to it. Hasn't even picked it up yet. But using Hey Siri, okay, that time I did it. It did that time. Other than that, though, it doesn't usually do anything when I say that. Like if I want to turn on my lights or I want to turn off my heat or whatever, right? It doesn't pick that up like it should. And when I do, it's just iffy at best. And they're working on it. Apple's doing stuff. Give them time, I guess, right? So for this is going to be nice. That Google Sense is coming into Gemini in January. And it's going to be a Pixel exclusive. So you can't use this on a Samsung device and various other things too. And it's going to be only on the Pixels. So that's a nice little feature. So they're also going to have a new fold from Pixel later in the year. And they're going to have about the same price points. So it's going to start at $800 for 128 gig, $900 for 256 gig, and $1,500 for a 1 terabyte model. Oh, hold up here. The 10 Pro is going to start at $1,000 at 128 gig. So we're going to see a $200 price increase, up to $1,500 roughly for the 1 terabyte model. That's a bit crazy. I'm curious to see what Apple's going to have for the new iPhones, which is rumored to have a price increase because of the tariffs. Apple tried their hardest to just eat that cost, but it's going to kill them in the long run, so they're going to have to increase the price, and I can't blame them. It's going to happen with everybody, right? So it's just happening across the board. So in any case, that is the Pixel 10 coming out. Oftentimes I hear from people that if they're going to use Android, they're going to use a Pixel because it's the more rounded out and more polished OS and polished phone out there in the Google space. Although that's the case, it's not as popular as you would think it would be. I think people flock to Samsung a lot of times and other brands as well and kind of not use this as their primary device. And for those who have Android, they are not using the Pixel and using like Samsung or various other manufacturers. Why is that the case? Tell us in the comments below. I want to know. I want to know why you pick what you pick. And also, if you use Android, why you pick Android over iPhone. So let us know in the comments below. And I'm curious to see how that plays out. Okay. This is a much shorter episode than it usually is. And I kind of pushed through things. That's okay. Right? Next week, I'll try to have some more things. This is a slow week in tech. I kind of had to just pick things that were just somewhat relevant. And I hope next week we're going to see just a big boom in things. And I am trying to line up a guest for the next week. And we'll see how that works out. If not, it'll be me again. And then after that, it'll be Quasi. He'll be back on the podcast, just so you guys know. And now we get to the spot where it's called like the one more thing. It's like the Genius Bar's AA bar, if you want to call it that, where we just talk about random stuff that's happened, right? One of the things that just happened this week, I'm going today actually, so my Apple Watch Ultra 2 is having some weird things. So I use Visible, as you probably remember that from my previous discussions, and I cannot for the life of me get the LTE to work where I can make a call. I can receive said call, but it either hangs up in 2 or 3 seconds, up to a minute. I don't know why that's the case. I can't call from or nothing. I reset my watch. I reset the LTE phone connection to it. Hasn't helped at all. And then I've had weird charging issues where I'll be on the charger all night long, and then I wake up and it's like at 55%. Well, it's on the charger. I tested the charger on my wife's watch, works just fine. So mine's just having some weird issues. Even last night, I had on the charger while I was putting my daughter down for a nap, and it was just not charging like it should. So the animation for the watch go on and off. It was just really strange. This watch is not an old watch. It's actually the newest current Apple Watch Ultra. So this shouldn't happen. I've never had this happen before with the Apple Watch. So I'm going to give Apple the benefit of the doubt on my Genius Bar appointment today and just see what they're going to do. I will say in the past, I've had Apple do incredible things with Genius Bar. I had iPhone 6, I think it was a 6, where the top right of the screen was like not in the phone all the way. I could like click it, like, and it would just not stay in, pop back out. So I called Apple. I said, yeah, bring it and check it out. You know, I go to the Apple Store, and I gotta say, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had at an Apple Store. They said, oh yeah, that's not how it should work at all. They gave me iPhone 7, same storage capacity, upgrade free of cost. I'm not sure if they were supposed to. You know, it wasn't like it just came out. It's been out for a while. I did not upgrade that year. It was out for probably about a year. Not even a year. Sorry, probably about 7 or 8 months. And I got a new one for free. Who does that? Who upgrades your phone? And when I say they gave me a phone, it wasn't like from the back in the white box. It didn't have like, you know, the Apple marketing on stuff like you get that's refurbished or whatever. It was a brand new from the consumer shelf phone. That experience alone was just phenomenal. I love that. Also, to add to that, the HomePod first generation, the big guy, you know. And I had some issues where it would not pair with the second HomePod I have. It would be like, it would play its own music besides what I'm listening to on my Apple TV, on my phone or whatever, right? Getting super annoying, or it would just cut out, not really work well. I thought, I'll just call Apple, see what they can do here, right? You know, they'll probably help out a little bit here. I bring the HomePod to an Apple store. They tested some things out with it, and they did some sound tests and various other things. And they said, you know what? We're going to ship you a replacement. So it was refurbished, by the way, because they don't make them anymore. They're obsolete products. From Apple, I got a brand new HomePod Gen 1. I think it's Gen 1, or maybe Gen 2, whatever it was. Free of cost. Refurbished, mind you, but still. What? So they're going to give me a new product for an obsolete product that's not supposed to be fixed at all. I gotta say, I was very impressed, and this is one of the reasons why I choose Apple, because their support is unparalleled. You will not get that from Samsung. I'm telling you right now, ask any Samsung fan, they're not going to a Samsung store and getting that experience. It's usually, what can I do to get you out here as fast as possible? Get on my face. That's their attitude for the most part, from what I experience, from what I've been told from people that use them. So that is one of the biggest reasons why I choose Apple, because of, well, it just works. When the support is needed, which is not too often, they just take care of things. And they're happy to do so. So that's just my personal perspective on things. But if you choose Apple or Android, why do you? And let me know in the comments. For sure. Okay. I know Quasi would get very mad at me if I don't bring up App of the Week. I'm not saying I don't like App of the Week. I'm just saying I want to bring this up. So I'm going to change these up a little bit. And this seems so silly. So I originally had ChatGPT before I saw the next story where there's problems with it. But I'm actually going to bring up this app. And it's an app that it seems so silly to me that this needs to be a thing. But essentially, one thing I was doing over the weekend was I was playing some dominoes with my grandparents and my wife and so on. Boy, I just get so sick of writing those, like, the scores down on a piece of paper. I'm not saying it's archaic and I hate it. I'm more sick of it's just like, you know, there's times people don't write correctly. You can't add things up correctly. It's just a process I don't like. I want digital. So I have been trying to find an app on the App Store to just, you know, keep scores for dominoes, and so on. And there was just so many apps that you get it, and there's restrictions or you had to pay a year. Just terrible timing, everything. And I'm like, I'm going to look for an app that I can just keep score. We can keep history of what happened, who won and what. And I finally found one. So the app is called Pointedly. It's Pointedly. It's a free app. You can donate to and remove ads, but I didn't see a single ad anyway, but it's weird. But essentially, you can, with this app, track scores from various different games. It could be Uno, it could be Monopoly, and so on, right? And even custom games. And then you can customize those games. For instance, in dominoes, the lowest score is the winner, right? Not the highest score. So you can adjust stuff like that in the app per game for a game template and then who's playing that game. And then, for instance, let's say the game is done, I have 50 points or 50 score from my domino count. And the next one I had 25. When you add 25, it just keeps adding the number up. So it's like addition, basically, right? But not many apps did that. It was more so, here's your score, add up yourself and put the new score in yourself. I didn't like that. I want to be able to be quick and simple and easy, and it's precise. So in any case, my app week is this. I think it's phenomenal. It's really nice. It's nice how it works. There's no limit on people that are playing too. Most domino apps I had, you can have 4 players. That's all you ever play, right? Well, we usually play 6 players. So that's not something I want to even have a limit with. So this app is really nice. It's free. That is my app league for sure. Okay, guys. So this episode is a lot shorter than normal. Once again, I would encourage you to like and subscribe our podcast. Okay? And make sure that you look on YouTube as well. We have it on there. And do not forget, we have Discord. Okay? We have like 4 people on Discord, I think, total. And not much engagement. So let's try something different. Those discussion topics I brought into today, let's go in Discord, and I wonder what your thoughts are. Did you like what I talked about? Did you say, man, where's Quasey at? He's slacking. Whatever you want for comments, right? And no, I don't think he's slacking. I'm not mad at him, okay, if he's listening to this. I know he's got so much going on with a 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. schedule daily of what he's doing. And I'm going to mention it because that's up to him to decide. But he is just overwhelmed at best, and I want to give him some breaks so he doesn't get just too much with this podcast. So in any case, let's see what we can do in there, right? I want to be more responsive there as well. And if you have any questions, let us know. The Ask OMT channel, that's where we're going to answer your questions, right? If you have comments or feedback for these episodes, let us know there, please, because we listen to that. We go in there, we actually read it. For sure. It's not Barbara from finance or or whatever. It's me and Quasey. That's our whole company for this, right? There's no one else in the whole company. So if you can, please check us out on other platforms if you haven't already. And we'll see you next week. Bye.